Hello and welcome to my garden and welcome to Saying Yes to Life. The sun is getting ready to go down here in Vilcabamba and I'm going to try to squeeze in one more video here before it gets too dark. So I hope it's going to be okay for you. So I'm Delisa Renideo. I live here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, where it's summer all year. Today I'm going to dive a little deeper into the placebo effect, which I introduced in my last episode. And as I'm sure you know, the placebo effect is when somebody gets some inert substance like a sugar pill, and yet their body still responds as if they got real medicine. You know, they get rid of their pain or they heal or things like that. That's the placebo effect. Have you ever wondered how a sugar pill can actually heal someone? How can belief change biology? Because it's the belief that makes it happen. So to understand this, let's go back to a set of experiments that completely changed the way we look at life. Bruce Lipton, a cell biologist, took genetically identical cells, they were cloned, and he placed them in petri dishes with different culture media. What happened? When they were put in a nourishing environment, the cells thrived. But the ones in a toxic environment, the same cells weakened or died. And the health of the cells wasn't determined by their DNA, it was determined by the environment they were living in. And Lipton discovered something else. This is so cool, I love it. The real brain of the cell wasn't the nucleus with the DNA in it. It was the cell membrane, this thin outer layer that senses the environment and decides what gets to enter the cell. So here's the key idea. Just like those petri dishes, our own cells are constantly responding to the environment around them. But here's the twist. For us, the environment isn't just food, water, and air. Our environment is also filtered through our perceptions and emotions. We never experience reality directly. Everything is filtered. I'm going to say that again. We never experience reality directly. Everything we perceive has been filtered. What's it filtered by? Well, our beliefs, our attention, the meaning we give to things, our emotions, our past experiences, our culture, the stories we tell ourselves. All of these act like filters, deciding what kind of environment our cells are living in from moment to moment. I'm going to share an unbelievable story with you that demonstrates this placebo effect and the beliefs in a profound way. That's a loud bird. There was a little boy who was living in South America in a very remote area where he wasn't exposed to any modern kinds of experiences. And one of his main pastimes was playing with geckos. You know geckos, the little tiny lizards? They're really cute little things. But what the little boy witnessed was that this gecko sometimes would lose its tail because they're designed like that as a protection. If their tail gets caught in something, their tail can get pulled off. But the tail always grows back. And this little boy had been living with this in his environment his entire life. When the gecko loses its tail, it grows a new tail back. Well, one day this little boy was in a serious accident and he lost his leg. And I mean, how tragic is that? But he wasn't worried because he knew from his experience with the gecko that his leg would grow back. And guess what? It did. His leg grew back. I mean, our body has the ability to do that. The DNA is in every cell that could build a whole new body. But we don't generally grow limbs back. But his belief was absolutely strong. He had seen this happen over and over with geckos, and the medical team was quite amazed to see this leg growing back. So, when we have the right filters, our body is unbelievably able to heal itself. So let's look more closely at one of the most powerful filters of all, and that is our emotions. Emotions are not just feelings, sadness, happiness, etc. They are energy in motion. And the moment we feel them, our body responds with chemistry. When we feel stress or fear or anger, our body releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Now you all know this feeling. If you're driving your car and you have a close call and you see somebody's about to hit you, your adrenaline just pours into your body. It's like, oh, you just, I think it's an unmistakable feeling. That emotion, that fear, just released those stress hormones, that adrenaline, into our bloodstream very quickly. But on the other side, when we feel love and joy and gratitude or connection to another person or an animal, our body releases healing hormones like endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin. So those chemicals, whether it's the stress hormones or the love hormones, become the soup that surrounds our cells. So just like in the petri dish, our cells will thrive or they'll decline, depending on what they are bathed in. But where do these emotions come from? Well, basically, they come from our beliefs. If I believe the world is unsafe, I'm going to feel fear, and that fear will release cortisol, and my body will be on high alert. But if I believe I'm loved and supported, I'll feel safe and calm and joyful, and my body will respond with endorphins and oxytocin, chemistry that promotes healing. The good news is we can choose beliefs that empower us and create emotions that support our health. And what shapes our beliefs? Well, one thing is our attention. I had an episode all about attention a little while ago. What we focus on grows. Our attention feeds our beliefs. And think about the little boy. He paid attention to the gecko, and he saw that obviously if you lose a tail, you grow it back. So that fed his belief that he could grow his leg back. And then our beliefs generate emotions. So if he believed that he was going to grow his leg back, he wasn't living with the same fear that he would have if he thought, oh no, I'm going to, be a cripple. He thought, well, I'll just grow a new one. And then our emotions release the chemistry. So his body released the healing hormones and all the other magic that our body knows how to do to heal itself. And to me, it is amazing. It's magical. And that chemistry creates the environment for our cells. And remember, the environment is what's making the decision of how the DNA in our cells is going to operate. It's the chemistry that in the environment that creates the effect on our cells. So it's a circular loop. Our attention leads to belief, our belief leads to emotion, our emotion leads to chemistry, and then our chemistry leads to the biology of belief, according to Bruce Lipton. So the biology is when your body is now rebuilding a leg, if that's what you have. I don't recommend you try that, by the way. We can try that with simpler things. But that loop can heal us, or it can destroy us through the nocebo effect. So it's called placebo if it's healing, and nocebo if it's harming. And so I've heard of people who believed that they were taking a drug for a chemotherapy drug, and it wasn't actually what they were getting, and they lost their hair because they expected to lose their hair. So that's the nocebo effect. And unfortunately, that does happen quite often. If someone has a diagnosis that is incorrect, they believe they have cancer, but they don't really, then they can go through all of those symptoms as though they actually have cancer. And there are plenty of stories about that, but I'm not going to take the time to tell you those right now. So, how does the placebo effect work? When we believe in healing, that belief triggers hope, peace, gratitude, and trust, and those emotions release healing chemistry. And that chemistry creates a nourishing environment, and our cells thrive. So the placebo effect isn't just in your head. It's not just like, oh, I'm thinking a positive thought here. It's actually happening in every cell of our bodies. So I have an invitation for you today. Notice your beliefs. Notice where your attention goes. And notice then the emotions that follow. This is something we don't usually pay attention to. We think our emotions just happen. But they actually happen in this sequence. What is it we're believing? What is it we're paying attention to? And then notice those emotions that follow. You can choose to believe what empowers you. You can choose to place your attention on what brings peace and joy. And every time you do, you're giving your cells a healing bath. You don't need a sugar pill to do that. You can start right now with your beliefs. So thank you for joining me, and please share this with anybody that you think might benefit from it. See you next time.